Venom.
What's going on, everybody? It's Edwin here for Strictly Comics, and we are going to do a live chat. We're going to talk about, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're just here on a Friday night, decided to do something, and I got Adam here with Comically Flawed joining us. I also have Justin with EXILESTATE, sorry. Also, you can check out Justin over at comicbooks.com if anybody wants to read some cool articles and whatnot. But we're just gonna, do a little Friday night chat, just talking about a few things. So if anybody's out there, thank you so much for joining us. One of the things I did kind of want to talk about was CGC and Jim Starlin. This seems to be, it seems to be going around a little bit. I've watched Arkham City Comics talk about it just recently, and he made some very good points. And I also want to see what y'all's thoughts were about the situation. I had no idea that CGC actually had a Jim Starlin little face and signature banner for their slab, like they do with the Stan Lee and the Kevin Eastman one and the Walking Dead one. So that was very interesting. I had no idea, but apparently what he did was he decided to get a lawyer to file some kind of legal issue or agreement with CGC to let them know not to be using his autograph to for yellow labeling, or to be charging people for his autograph to get them slabbed or whatever. And if anybody read the article, I read the article, and I was glad that he wrote the article, because it kind of explained clearly what was going on. Because had he not did the article, you could have thought anything. But what seemed to have happened was Jim turned around for a minute after a fan got his book signed or had gotten up to go do something. And when he came back, both the CGC rep and the guy who had Starlin sign his book for left, and the fan who wanted the book signed didn't give Starlin any money. And so what Starlin did was he went to CGC to ask CGC, hey, I didn't get money for getting this book slabbed. Can you at least give me the information or tell me who it is I need to get in contact with so I can get the money that's owed to me? And CGC said it's policy not to give out people's information, which I understand. But I wrote in the comment section, I thought that this was a good opportunity for CGC to at least take some initiative. From what I understand, it was a small convention. I don't think that it would have been a big deal. At least make one round at a small convention just to see if you can find the dude. You're talking about Jim Starlin, somebody who is getting a lot of recognition now for creating Thanos, with the whole Guardians of the Galaxy coming out and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, somebody who I just haven't seen a whole lot in the comic book scene, the comic book convention scene. So I thought that this was something that CGC kind of really slipped up on. And I know you have policy and stuff like that, but I look at it as, would somebody really sue you, CGC, for taking some initiative and helping somebody out? I seriously doubt it. So after all this is said and done, now what seems to have happened is now CGC, from what it seems like, cannot do any authorized witnessing of Jim Starlin's signature. So I find this to be very interesting. I also am wondering if this is going to be a one-up for CBCS or what their plan is, because I think that if you are a competitive slabbing company, you would have to take advantage of this situation as much as possible. So I'm just going to lay that out there, and I want to hear what you guys have to think about the whole situation. Good, bad, ugly? What do you guys think? Anybody take it away?
Was he just not happy with, I guess CGC? I don't know what CGC's authorized signature fee is, but like CBCS, it's $5, right, to add on an authorized signature to a book.
Well, I think what was going on is that usually, usually Mark Bagley, for instance, he's just the one that popped into my head. He'll sign like books for like $5, but he's like, if you're gonna get it slabbed, and really what they do is they say CGC'd, it's $5 plus like an extra $10 or $15 on top of that. So I think what it was is that Jim Starlin wanted like an additional probably like 10 or 15 bucks. And that, I guess, and maybe even, no, he was signing for free, but I think that probably the 10 or 15 bucks is really what he was kind of missing out on.
Yeah. I mean, because if it's the fact of he's not happy with, he knows that a signed book is going to carry that much more in the marketplace on resale, then I don't really know that he has a leg to stand on. I didn't read the article, in fairness. So if that's his issue with it, though, I don't really know if that flies. But if it's the fact of, like, again, I don't know exactly what CGC's rate is, but CBCS for an authorized signature, it's $5 on top of the book. Well, that's $5 that basically, you know, CBCS or CGC is getting with no, I mean, somebody witnessed it. They're not having to verify the signature. They don't have to spend any extra money. That's just an extra $5 that they're raking in on the top. So if that's his problem with it, that he's not getting a cut of that, I can see it, definitely.
Well, here's what it is. People have been telling him, if I remember the article correctly, people have been telling him to charge people. Starlin is old school. Starlin doesn't really believe, I guess, in charging, or doesn't really believe in charging for another third party to verify or authenticate his signature. Again, he comes from the old school. So I think that it was maybe a little bit of Starlin maybe being a little bit of naive and not really knowing how this whole process works, and then just on a whim trying to get what was owed to him. But I don't think he factored in the whole market value of his signature on a slab or slabs and all that stuff. So he just kind of winged it there at the end, and it just, for whatever reason, well, for what I had just said, turned out into what it is now.
So what now? The only way, like, if you want a signed Jim Starlin CGC book, it's going to be red label. Is that like
only through CBCS? CGC doesn't do red labels. CGC does green labels, which is basically nothing.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with. I mean, a couple things. I don't think that necessarily an artist should get a slice of, like, say, let's use CBCS for example again, in the red label, because they're having to lay out a cost. I'm sure it's less than what they're charging, but they're having to lay out some sort of cost to get that book authenticated. You know, so you know they've got an expense there. So I don't necessarily think the artist should get a slice of that. But again, if it's just that somebody's witnessing it for that company, no cost really there, and that company's getting a few extra dollars, then yeah, maybe the artist should get a slice of that. I don't know how I feel about artists charging two different rates for, hey, if I know you're going to turn around and get this one slabbed, I want to charge you extra. I think if they would just kind of split the difference and charge a nominal fee for, hey, I'm going to charge X number of dollars to get it to sign a book, whether it be you're going to get it slabbed, you're going to put it in your PC, whatever you're going to do with it, charge whatever they think their time's worth and be done with it. It's kind of like what I think Fred Ease was talking about with sketches and artists getting up in arms over doing sketches and then people turning right around and flipping them on eBay. I mean, granted, when somebody pays for it, it's theirs to do with what they wish. But if the artist would just charge for what they think their time's worth at the table and be done with it, I think everybody would come out happy.
that, or they'd see a decline.
I think that's one of those things that may be a little easier said than done. I see your point, Adam, but I also see the point of the artist, where I think that before CGC or once CGC was so well known to artists and writers, they weren't charging the fan because they were fans. But once they saw that people were making money off of them, that's really what it's all about. Then they had to step in and do something, which which I understand because it's like me. I'm nice enough. I'm coming out of the goodness of my heart to sign something that you enjoy from what I did, but then it starts turning into you're a fan that's really enjoying my art or my writing to you're a fan that enjoys my art and my writing, but you also want to make a buck off of it and really make a buck off of me in a sense, because without me, there is no additional income for you. So in a way, it's like you're making money off me. So it can be taken personally, and it can be maybe a little offensive. But I see kind of both sides of the fence. So that's just kind of where I fall.
I mean, my thoughts though would be that unintentionally, by doing this, Jim Starlin's going to drive up the price of his signature in the seller's market because it'll be harder to get.
Point. Yeah. Hey, there you go. There you go. And you know, I told people in the comment section, I said, well, I'm glad I'm not CGC because usually when you go, okay, so I don't know if this is ethical or morally, you know, right or not, but when they put up a sign that says CGC witnessing or CGC slabbing an extra $10 or $15, I don't feel like I fall into that category because I'm not with CGC. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you know,
get on the technicality.
Yeah, exactly. So like, well, that doesn't mean me. So, you know, hey, let me get this sign so I can get it slabbed. So, but no, man, I mean, I don't know. And then listening to Arkham City Comics, he was like, look, this guy's a legend. You're talking about people like Perez and Steranko and anybody else you can think of. These guys are well known in the industry, and not only that, but you look at somebody like even Walt Simonson. Now I know Walt Simonson. I think he does. Does he do Ragnarok? Justin, is he doing Ragnarok still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, my point is he's not like big time like he was back in the 70s and 80s. So I look at it like these people are legends, and they kind of made the way to where comic books and characters are now. I am starting to see that, okay, maybe it's okay for me to give them a little bit of extra because of what they've done for the industry. And not only that, but they're not making probably the money that they are now, or were, because back then Marvel was really just trying to make you working for little to nothing and rip you off. So and you see people like Rob Liefeld really capitalizing on that with this whole Deadpool situation. So I think in certain situations, certain people, I don't mind giving a little extra. Now I have noticed people like Bagley or even Chad Harden at times, and other people that are, or even I'll give you an example. David Finch over the weekend, he wasn't charging anything for his signatures because he's a currently working artist. He's still working. He doesn't need the extra money. So therefore he doesn't need to charge. But people like Simonson or maybe Starlin or other people, maybe they need that little bit of extra income. So therefore it wouldn't hurt so much just to give them what they might rightfully deserve.
That's why Jim Lee charges so much. He's got 9 kids. He's working.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that if they would charge, and I mean, maybe I'm thinking being too idealistic or whatever, but if they would charge a nominal fee, you know, nothing exorbitant, but charge something like a small fee and limit it to, well, maybe not even limit it. I was about to say and limit it to, you know, you can have 2 books or 3 books or whatever, and charge a nominal fee. Nothing that's going to break the bank for the fan who's not going to flip, but, you know, they're getting a little something extra out of those people who are going to turn around and sell it. Then I think that situation would kind of remedy itself. The scary thought that popped in my head is what you might see as a trend is, and I don't know if how this would work exactly, but I would be willing to bet you're going to see some artists who stop signing at shows. They start signing the books, and they just send them in. They send them in to CGC or CBCS and get them authorized themselves. You know what I mean? And then they turn around and sell them. So there's no way for you to get a slab signature from those folks other than through the artists themselves who have taken the step to go ahead and get them slabbed and then do it that way.
Yeah. Before I come on that, we got Jesse from JLS Comics. Jesse in the house. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Jesse.
Chilling, bro. Chilling.
Hey, happy Friday.
That's
I
right.
know, right? What's your 2 cents in on this, man?
Well, I kind of jumped in here while you guys were into the conversation. I mean, did you kind of recap what happened with the story, or
Yeah,
how
we
far
kind
did
of
you
went
get
over
into
it.
Okay.
I gave a just a concise version of the article, and we talked a little bit about it.
Right. Okay. Well, I honestly, I can kind of see both sides of it. You know, like I understand why he was upset. I mean, he was trying to do something nice for the fans, you know, doing something, signing for free, you know, and then all of a sudden, like I think I heard you say, you know, suddenly he's realizing, well, people are making money off me, right? These people are coming up and saying to my face, oh, I'm the biggest fan, you know, I love your work. This is going to be in my collection forever. And then, you know, I think it happened with Amanda Connor. There was something where she had done a commission at her table at this booth, and they didn't say exactly what the fan had said, but it was something to the effect of, you know, like I just said, you know, I'm your biggest fan ever. I love your work. Will you please do something for me? And then she went, I don't know if it was her or Jimmy, but the next day they went and they found that piece on eBay the next day, right? So lied to her face, you got this thing. I think she did it for free even. But now to this day, she won't do any of those, right? So that's just an example of, you know, I kind of see that side of it where you have these people coming up to you, you know, you're trying to kind of give back to your fans, and you know, you find out, well, maybe that's not the case always, right? But I think at the same time, it really wasn't CGC's fault per se. I mean, they could have helped and done a little bit of kind of damage control and customer service with Mr. Starlin, but they chose not to, and I think that was really kind of the thing that set him off. So I think that it was more that particular rep's fault, or not fault, but there was something with that particular rep could have done versus it being in a whole like CGC problem. So
Right.
Yeah, the other thing I could see happening too is you know, and I agree with you, Jesse, there, but like I'm just trying to think forward of as these situations continue to happen. I mean, there was an issue where I guess, you know, they got this Starlin thing with CGC. I don't know all the details, but I read something about, I don't know exactly how it all went down, but something about an Adam Hughes signing with CBCS that wasn't locked in stone and got announced early, and now he's mad at CBCS and only do CGC and stuff like that. I can see a point where you reach a point where artists are signing, you know, they're figuring, hey, if we got to get our money somehow, them signing exclusive contracts with one of the grading companies or something like that, where, you know, I mean, I can see all kinds of weird possibilities that where at the end, it's the fan that loses out. I understand these people have to make their money and you know, it's their work and stuff like that, but I can see where the business model takes over and it's the fans that loses out one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, they could charge whatever they want. It's just a question of will the market bear it, you know? Like you got guys like, you know, Neil Adams. He charges what, $20, I think, just to look at him.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I'm sure he does pretty well, but I hardly ever see people at his table, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's why he's not so concerned about it, because he charges too much money for his autographs anyways. So
exactly right.
Every time he's at a convention here, it's dead. You can hear crickets.
Yeah. I mean, I go over to his table and chat with him and stuff, but I never really feel like I need to pay that much, you know? So that's what I mean. Like, is everybody kind of going to raise the rates up like that? And
well, to go back what Adam brought up, Todd McFarlane, I think, is leaning more towards that. I've even noticed Jim Lee a little bit leaning more towards that, doing more or less like, well, here's what they do. They'll sign anybody, but McFarlane makes it known. Jim Lee makes it known. And I think others will start making it known. I will sign, but if I see a signature for a specific date, or if I'm signing and you're witnessing my signature for a yellow label, I think that there could be a lawsuit or they can get in trouble and stuff like that, because that was really the issue that I had with CBCS recently at Dallas Fan Expo. There were 2 signings with Jim Lee. The very first one was first thing in the morning at 9 a.m. and either company could have his signature yellow labeled, but you had to get it done right then and there. After that, no grading company was to be witnessing any more of Jim Lee's signatures. And you can get your book signed, but CGC or CBCS was not going to yellow label it.
See, I think that's an okay solution too there, because you separate the people who just want a signature to have in their collection as opposed to the people who want to get it signed. Now, I understand that there are people who want to get it signed and slabbed for their collection as opposed to, you know, slabbed and reselling it. But at least that is a bit of a break where you can kind of, not 100% accurately or whatever, but you can kind of filter out a little bit of the people who are going to sell versus the people who are going to collect. And then, you know, people who want to collect, I guess they can always get it red label through CBCS.
Because red is the coolest. It looks better in your collection than yellow.
Nah. Gotta go with the yellow.
It conflicts with my colors. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Doom is saying that McFarlane's going to be in Hawaii signing, but he's not letting any reps verify his SIGs.
Yeah, and that's where that's where I think CBCS can benefit from their red labels. And to be honest with you, I really need to do a video about this because I think that people lack understanding of the whole process. I tell people the red labels are not as good as the yellow labels, but they're much better than CGC's green labels.
With the red label, there's a very scientific process that goes behind the analyzation of the signature. And it's really hard to argue with. I mean, there's a bit of subjectivity with it, but it's really hard to argue at the end of the day that that's not real if they say it is, you know?
And if you know about that, feel free to discuss it, Jesse.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty much all I know about it.
Is
it a person or is it a machine?
No, I would have to find the links, but here's what happened. CBC, they used to be two different companies. There was just one company that did the signature verification, and they would verify that the signature is legit, and they would give you a certificate letting you know
CSA, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so what happened was they ended up merging together, and here's really what it boils down to. The reason why CGC does not do this is because it's just too expensive for them. Because in order for me to get it done through CBCS, that's why it costs $25 for the one signature, and then they'll do $15 for each additional signature. Now, I thought that was ridiculously expensive, but you know, I guess with the technology and the process in which it needs to be done, they have to charge something because there's nobody there to actually witness it. It has to go through a machine and a process. And I think that what they do is they match it up. It's like, if you look at it, it's like a graph with these little dots which gauge the width and the height and length of the signature of the artist or the writer, and the way they've done things throughout the past. And I think through that they can tell whether or not a signature is legit, because I've even heard stories of people trying to get Jack Kirby's signature red labeled, and they just were not going through because I guess at times Jack Kirby, just like the president, will have an assistant which will sign a letter or something and mail it out to a fan. It doesn't necessarily mean that the actual writer or the president or whoever did the signing. And, you know, you get that a lot. So anyways, there's at least a process that it goes through that can verify that this is a legit signature. And I think that in most cases, if CBCS cannot verify that it's real, what they'll do is they'll end up calling you and letting you know, like, hey, we found some errors, blah, blah, blah. We don't think that this is a legit signature. What do you want us to do? Do you still want to get it slabbed, or you want us to send it back?
Yeah, Doom says they use some sort of laser scanner. It's not a person. It's some sort of laser machine thing. And that's cool because the technology we have nowadays offers a high degree of precision. But my fear is that there's that same degree of precision can be used on the other end of the spectrum with, you know, high-end auto pens or whatever, where there's gonna be a point where somebody's going to be able to, through technology, mimic a artist's signature with an extreme degree of accuracy. And, you know, taking the human element out of it, be it an authorized witness or be it a person who's a, you know, an expert who can look at, hey, the pressure that's used, or, you know, this, that, and the other. I don't know. It just seems like it's ripe for abuse.
Well, you can scam in anything. I mean, I think there was a kid, as soon as the new $100 bills came out, within 24 hours, some kid had already made an exact copy or duplicate. So
yeah, that's not a smart thing to do.
No, I know, but you're gonna always find people that's gonna try to scam and get around things. But I think it's a good thing to have. I think that Jesse is on board with the whole CBCS, you know, grading process and whatnot. But I don't know. I think it's a good thing to offer, because really the only other options you would have if you didn't have CBCS would have to go through CGC. You would have to pay the ridiculous fees that they charge to get it done. And I just don't think that is fair. I don't think that is fair to everybody else who doesn't want to make a profit off of a signature. They just wanted their own personal collection. You know, why should I have to go to only one source to get my signatures?
I'm afraid too, and I mean, I'm not a huge signature collector. I mean, I have a couple. I prefer my books raw, but I can see the appeal of getting signed books. And maybe for the person who wants them in the personal collection, that's not as big a deal. But I can start to see it. We had talked about this once before, but I can start to see a trend where people start personalizing all their signatures with
a lot of people do that now.
Yeah,
to whoever or whatever, so that it's not really valid for resale at that point.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do ask for that, and you know, it does kind of lighten the mood when you're with the person. They know for sure, or with a greater degree of certainty, that it's for you, not for eBay. And the other thing that people do also, and I think it's a pretty good idea, is have a separate like a notebook where, you know, you say, hey, to the artist, can you sign this, or do a quick little sketch, you know, and it's like a, you know, that book is only for the signatures and only for the little sketches versus having it on the actual comic. So those books are pretty cool. I've seen a couple of them. I know that Punisher 88 has one. It's pretty full. It's pretty neat.
How do you think they feel, Jesse, about, I mean, for me personally, who like, you know, again, I have a couple of signatures, but a lot of times signatures depend on where it's at on a book, or especially if it's a multiple signed book. Sometimes for me that can take away from it. How do you think the artist would respond if you not with a sketchbook or whatever, but if you took one of their comics up to them and said, hey, I really like your signature, can you sign it on the inside cover? You know, do you think they'd look at that as less of an affront, that, hey, this person's probably not going to slab it or sell it because it's on the inside cover?
Probably. I would think so. I don't think any artist would have a problem doing that either.
That's how they used to do it. I mean, that used to be the popular place, the inside cover, you know, right? The indicia. It was where everybody used to get the signatures.
Yeah, and you used to always have that, like, you had a space almost for it, basically, on the inside of some of the books. So, and
I've even seen certain artists sign like their favorite page on the inside of a book, like a splash page. A friend of mine, he come across I think it was a Daredevil, and that he bought like at a garage sale or something, and he looked in it, and Frank Miller signed like in the middle of the book where there was a splash page. So you know, it just depends on the artist or the writer.
Yeah.
So
now, I'll say the one thing that I've seen different is people that I've taken trades up to and had a trade sign instead of a single issue, they'll sign it on the inside cover and normally write something also. So trades, it seems like they're willing to go a little bit further because they know you're not going to do anything with it other than put it back on your shelf. You know?
There's no money to be made there,
right?
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't mind having some things personalized, but I also know that there's different seasons in people's lives, and I've had to sell off a lot of my collection at one point, and a lot of that consisted of signed books. It really hurt to do that, but you know, my wife lost her job and I had to get a second job, and we still weren't making enough money to, you know, really just pay off our bills and stay afloat. And so I had to sell off probably like $2,000 worth of books. And not to say that that's a reason or a purpose to get your book signed, but it definitely helps. And thankfully I haven't had to go into my art collection or anything like that, but getting everything personalized, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I just like to see the artist's name. I don't need, you know, to Edwin from, you know, Greg Capullo or whatever the case. So
yeah, I think that's a great reason, and it's a blessing that you had those to be able to sell,
it was,
to, you know, help out. So, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Shit, that'll come to me eventually.
But it was not to digress too far, but you know, I think that Jim Starlin, you know, he can do what he wants. He can, you know, if this is what he wants to do, fine. But Jesse, I don't know if you came in when I said this, but I think that this is a good moment for CBCS to capitalize on, because we were already seeing CGC trying to really buy out conventions and have conventions.
That's the big one.
Yeah, have conventions exclusively to them, which they've already started something is, to me, is a big deal, because you know, you start buying all these big conventions, and CBCS is going to just have to start going to the smaller conventions, which is not something they want to do. They want to continue to go to the big conventions and get their name known. So,
do you remember last year? I think it was ReedPop. I think it was maybe in New York, but they signed an exclusive with CGC. So CBCS basically said, "Fuck you, we're going to go across the street, set up shop in the hotel, and if you want your books, just come across the street."
No way.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So they're like, you know, we're not in the convention hall, but damn straight, we're right across the street.
Nice.
So, also, I mean, along the same lines, like this happened with those two companies. I mean, there was news out of PGX also.
Doom's hyping PGX in the chat. He says this is their chance.
Oh, God.
I know.
No,
they got new labels and they look pretty good.
You know what? I'm still saying no to PGX. Sorry, Doom. Sorry, brother. I just can't shake that whole experience we've all heard about.
They got a long ways to go, I think.
Well, I think that's out there in the ether. Surely they would have corrected it by now, because you know that's gotten back to them.
I know what any association that people have with PGX is when they're trying to buy their books because they're not selling as high as CGC or CBCS, and they're either getting impressed or just getting resubmitted to bless you.
Couldn't hit the mute button fast enough.
But what they're doing is they're taking the PGX books and they're submitting them to CGC or CBCS just to have that banner so that they can resell or do whatever with it.
What I think's funny though is like a lot of the '90s books that I'm randomly looking for to finish out my image run of slab books, they're all PGX, and that's the only slabs for sale.
Yeah, I'd buy a PGX book. I mean, it depends on what it is.
Well, I don't. Yeah, no. And I mean, most of the time, like you said, they're cheaper. So, but where was I going with that? It seems like it's maybe at some point PGX was getting a lot of business. Like, I don't know when they started or whatever, but it's just weird that a whole bunch of '90s books are done by them.
Spider336 asked something about Stan Lee's signature. I didn't want to answer it because I don't know the exact answer, but isn't he like $100 or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's 120.
Yeah. It goes up another $20 every time he says it's his last year. He's done it 3 years in a row. And I mean, that's great. I love it. I want him to come back to Atlanta. That'd be awesome. But
yeah, it's about 120 now for sure.
Wow. Dave Enrique also asked, what about snapping a picture mid-signature? Which a lot of the artists are going to charge extra for a picture too. I mean, aren't they?
Well,
so I don't know how that's going to work.
That's a good question, because when Jim Lee was here, he didn't mind getting pictures of him signing the book. And the thing is that's a good idea. But the thing is you would have to get Jim Lee in the frame, him signing the book, and the book, in my opinion, in the frame close enough to where we can see the exact spot and what color that he signs it in. But even still, What's that? What's that, Justin?
Paper to prove the date.
Yeah, but even then, some people to some people, nothing means anything like that. What that yellow label means.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, Justin, I've sent you books signed by. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and to you, like, you don't need it yellow labeled, and to each person, you know, teach their own. But some people just they will not buy anything if it's not yellow labeled.
Right. No, and I can understand that. That's like buying a car. You want the EX, you don't want the DX. You know, I completely understand that. I'm good with it.
It's definitely its whole other culture within the comic industry, and I'm never one to just, you know, to say somebody shouldn't collect how they want. You know, everybody's gonna to take what they want from the hobby and enjoy it the way they want. But yeah, you're definitely right. There's a whole area around that yellow label that people gotta have it. They need it, you know. So I'm curious to see where this whole thing goes in the industry. You know, for me, I've got a handful of books that are signed, and I didn't witness them personally, but I know a guy who saw them all signed. I'm pretty sure. So
here's a question though. How do CGC, CBCS, how do they treat a signed book that comes with a COA?
They don't. You have to get it red labeled, right?
Yeah, you have to get, yep. Unless, I think, what's the Midtown is a pretty reputable, they have pretty reputable witnesses, and they have COAs and stuff like that. But even then, I think it still might be red labeled. Jesse, do you know about if CBCS gets a book from like Midtown or any kind of COA or dynamic forces or anything like that? If it gets red labeled.
Yeah, it's red labeled.
So yeah, they're basically just going to punish you if you don't pay them at a convention.
Yeah, I mean, I guess pretty much. But it goes back to like what some of you guys were saying. Like, as long as you know that it's signed and you saw it signed, or you have a trusted person who you bought it from and said that it was signed, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you say, you're going to start seeing. I mean, I think actually now, who is it? It's I'm sure there's other places that are doing it, like JLS COMICS, right? Which is Tyler Kirkham. You know, he'll come out with his store variants or whatever, and then you'll also see that option to buy them signed. But then they'll also have an option on the webpage, usually, to go ahead and buy it slabbed and yellow labeled.
And it's crazy that they guarantee the 9.8s.
Yeah.
In a pre-sale.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
I've seen the artists sending their own stuff in to get it signed, so that they reap the rewards of that market inflation for their signature.
What's the markup on that process though?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
Is that a $50 surcharge or?
Okay, could be.
I mean, that's what I would realistically. That's what I would think.
Yeah, you're talking about a new book that isn't even out yet. They're already getting pre-orders for it. You never know.
Plus, they have to ship it off to get it. You know.
Yeah.
Flat.
Yep.
So I'm sure they have a deal worked out with CGC or whoever's doing it. You know, because they're going to send them X number of books. You know, they probably get a discount, but still.
Yeah, they do. It's like 14 plus a couple bucks for the signature. That's the dealer account rates.
If you guys don't mind, I'm going to move on to the next topic. We got word today. Tom Hardy, the guy who did, from what I understand, he did Bane and The Dark Knight Rises. He is going to be Venom, and it doesn't say Eddie Brock. I think it does say Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
In the new Spider-Man film. Or I'm sorry, the new Venom film. My bad.
Man, yeah.
I love it, man. I think it's awesome. I'm excited. I think it's a great choice.
Yeah, I do too. What else has he done besides
A whole bunch of stuff.
Bane?
Didn't he have some Amazon Prime or like Netflix exclusive show?
Yeah.
He was like in a cowboy thing too, I think. Not cowboy, but like Field and McCoy's. I think he was in that.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the director, they announced that the director of the film is Ruben Fleischer. He did Zombieland, which was a really cool film, by the way. I love Zombieland.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot of great tips.
Mad Max. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Mad Max.
Oh yeah, he did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fury Road or whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, you already got your main character casted, and you have your director announced. So it seems like this is really moving forward. What one of the articles did say is that they still don't see them meeting their deadline of October of next year for this movie. Do you guys see it happening? I kind of doubt it'll happen at that date also.
Yeah, I mean, there would have to be a lot of CGI for this, and that takes a lot of time to do.
Right. And I mean,
but like we talked about, with not a big budget, you're just getting pretty much an origin story for the most part. So they might not need a lot of CGI.
Yeah, we may not actually get to see Venom until like the end.
Oh my God, I hope they don't do that.
And see that
like a Luke from the Force Awakens move, where it's just like one little
Oh
scene
my
at the
gosh.
end, and he doesn't even say anything. I'll be like,
I know, because
Oh.
they trailered that thing like he was gonna be in the movie or something, have some kind of bigger role than what he ended up having.
yeah, it was just like one scene. He didn't even say a word.
No, he didn't, did he? He didn't say nothing.
No, he just stared at her like, "Oh, is that my lightsaber?"
Oh gosh.
How did you find me?
Makes me nervous too, though, whenever I think about it, because I mean, let's face it, we all saw Spider-Man 3, right?
Yeah.
But like I commented. I made the comment though. I think that the R rating is really going to help this film out.
Yeah.
I
think
do.
so. So it's within the collaboration between Marvel and Sony, but they are saying that this is not going to be part of the MCU. It's completely standalone.
Well, here's what I ended up reading from somewhere. What's the guy who did Amazing Spider-Man? Was it Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had read that he had already signed on for like one or two more Spider-Man films with Sony, and they ended up canceling the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. So he's still getting paid, or will get paid for films that he isn't even doing. So
Nice.
I've heard that they're going to utilize him in this role. This is just what talks are, to at least have a small role. Kind of, I would put it along the lines of Batman and Suicide Squad, just something very small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, because to me personally, if he's gonna have a small role, I don't really care if the new Spider-Man that's in Homecoming is going to be in the new Venom film. I really don't care. I mean, we've all seen how many different Batmans back in the 90s, 4 different.
Plus with this type of movie and those type of scenes, there's no point in Spider-Man taking his mask off at all.
Exactly.
So who cares who it is?
Yeah. He just uses voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's cool. He's still getting money because after or right around Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was when they were talking about doing the Sinister Six movie and blah, blah, blah. You know, so, yeah. Could have been cool, but oh well.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I think that it could be pretty good. They're definitely hyping up enough for me to pretty much already have my ticket purchased, and Adam's probably as well. But
Yep.
You can purchase mine too, are you?
Yeah, I mean, buy tickets for all of us.
You're buying tickets.
Yeah.
right?
Everyone look under your seat. You got a ticket.
Yay! Dinner and a movie, right?
They're hyping it enough to drive all the price of Venom books up. I know that.
I know, man. You'd be lucky to find that book for under $200. Which I'm kind of excited because it's already worth more than Deadpool for the most part.
No.
Like a slab copy is worth more than like a 9.8 Amazing 300 is worth more than like a New Mutants 98.
Wait till that Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah.
Like when production starts, filming starts, that thing's gonna jack the price up again.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I still need to get mine like pressed and slabbed.
I know a guy.
Let me give a couple shout outs to people in the chat. We got who we got? We got Mr. Spider 336, J Rod Ham 78. We got Comically Flawed, Jason Smith, Quarterback Comic Addict, Ramiro Gomez, and who else we got?
Ramiro's waiting on
Comics. Well, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that. June 11th, everybody. June 11th, Sunday, June 11th, I will be having my second online auction here on my YouTube channel. I've actually had 3 people ask me about that today. So
Sunday.
Ramiro Gomez is banned because he bought everything last time.
Yeah.
he did buy a lot, didn't he?
He's balling. Big money.
But that's all I got, man. I mean, does anybody got anything else they want to talk about? We're just kind of spitballing here. Talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. I don't care.
Did y'all see the Star Trek Discovery trailer?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing another one.
As a big Star Trek fan, I have mixed feelings about it.
I'm not excited, but I am.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you're saying too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but it's not what I was expecting.
I'm not excited.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like the interior of the ships and all is based off of the new movies.
But it's a prequel, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel, but still in that universe. So
yeah. Well,
yeah. Isn't there a parallel universe? I forget what they call it, but there's like a separate timeline. To the Star Trek world.
Yep.
They kind of altered the timeline in the original when dude went through the black hole or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what they said. At that point, that changed so this is now a fractured universe.
That was like Flashpoint?
Yeah, exactly. It's a Flashpoint. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. It looks, the production value looks really high. But I don't know. It's got a different feel than in, just that 2.5 minute preview had a completely different feel than any Star Trek series I've ever seen before.
Yeah. We give it a chance, though. As a Star Trek fan, you got to give it at least a chance.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. It could be. It's probably going to be awesome. So,
what was the last one that came out? Was that the second or the third one that just came out not too long ago?
The third one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Third.
The one with the lady?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I saw the first two. I haven't seen the last one.
I do like those new ones, though. I think they're really well done. Like, at least the first two, while, like, being innovative, yet keeping in canon kind of thing. Like, they didn't do anything that, like, really messed up the flow or contradicted the original ones, but yet they paid homage to them, but still made it fresh and exciting. Like, I enjoyed the first two movies a lot.
I thought it was pretty ingenious with the whole Khan story. That was a great tie-in.
Absolutely.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
It's a year old. If people haven't seen it yet, they're 3 years old.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I just say spoiler alert for everything. So what do you guys think of Alien Covenant? You gonna see it or have you seen it? Are you excited?
That's this week, isn't it?
Yeah, it came out, well, I guess today, or some people saw it last night. I've seen mixed reviews on it. And just like we're saying with Star Trek, I'm an Alien fan. I love the franchise, so I'm gonna give that a shot. Yeah,
that's a catch at home for me. So that's not a theater win right there.
I'd have to say it by myself because my wife doesn't watch horror films.
Man, I'm not sure because I didn't go to the theater and see Prometheus, but I thought, I know people, whatever, Prometheus, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it for what it was. We got to see cool stuff. They went to a different planet. There was alien ships. I was cool with that.
Yeah, so, you know what? I enjoyed it too.
Yeah. So
did you see the cutscenes? It made a lot more sense, like with the beginning. If you add in the cutscenes with the whole backstory,
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yes, it does. Yes, because they didn't show that. But that being said, though, now I kind of feel like I want to see the new one in the theater. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, because you're talking about better graphics, probably better everything all around. An Alien movie. There hasn't been a good Alien movie in quite a while. I don't know if anybody even watched Aliens versus Predator. Or I think it was Aliens versus Predators was the last one that they did, and I didn't see it. I didn't hear anything good about it.
And I saw the Alien versus Predator one just because I'm a Predator fan.
You talking about like the first one from like 2005?
Yeah, well, I saw both of them. The first one was really good.
Yeah.
The second one, where they were like in the temple or whatever, like the Aztec temple kind of thing.
No, that was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, the second one I didn't like, and the reason I didn't like it is kind of odd, I guess, in that the whole thing was very dark, and like, so if you're not watching it on a really super high contrast TV, basically like there was so little variation in the darkness of like what you're supposed to see and what you're not supposed to see, that everything kind of faded to black, and there was like, I lost a lot while I was trying to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I remember that movie being dark. Plus, it was also set like in a town, and there's some teenagers that are helping. I was like, "What are you doing, Dad? There's no."
Yeah.
They should just be.
Yeah, they just sort of nuke the town from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. So. Yeah. But no Alien movie for me. If I go see Alien, I won't go see Wonder Woman. Let's put it that way. It'll be a toss-up between the two.
Wait, Wonder Woman's 2 weeks?
Something like that.
June 2nd.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm definitely going to Wonder Woman opening weekend.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to see that one. Rotten Tomatoes has given the new Alien film a 75%. I know a lot of people don't care about Rotten Tomatoes, but it's got a 75% critic score, and the user score is a 98%. So already,
oh, that's pretty good. So speaking of reviews, there's been some reviews for Wonder Woman coming back, and a lot of people take it or leave it with the critics, but they're saying it's best DC movie yet.
What?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Premier Gomez says no Sigourney Weaver equals no Watchy.
She wants to come back. She said that recently. She wants to come back and do another movie.
She's too busy filming. Well, no, never mind. She died in Avatar. I gotta say they're still filming all those Avatars.
Well, but she's in The Defenders.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She's like the main bad guy.
Oh, nice. I will say this. I saw in Walmart they had the Alien quadrilogy for $10. At least the few that I've been to. So you're talking $2.50 for each film. Quadrilogy: Alien 1, 2, 3, and Alien Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the one where she was like in the future and she was like a cyborg.
She was a clone.
But she was really good at basketball.
Oh, Justin, get out of here.
Yeah.
You got it. Good for you, man. Did you already open it up? Did you already start watching it?
No, I haven't opened it yet. I bought it a couple weeks ago. Just haven't. I got it in like a cool version of Akira for $5 a piece or whatever it was.
You got Akira on DVD?
Yeah.
For $5?
Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Well, all Vegas, baby. Woo!
ETA Nick. Oh, ETA Nick in the house. He said Jack Kirby's wife signed a lot of stuff. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, that's smart, especially back in the day when people were just like he was signing and sending out,
Mm-hmm.
That happened too, apparently, with John F. Kennedy. It wasn't actually him signing a lot of stuff. It was his secretary or one of his assistants that was.
Yeah, I think that happens with a lot of
people. And memorabilia, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Laser disc.
About this big.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you still have a Laserdisc, do you?
I never had a Laserdisc player. There's like that weird period between VHS and like DVD, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They sure look cool though.
They did.
They were the hot thing for like 6 months.
Yeah, no.
You guys remember HD DVD? That was the alternative to Blu-ray.
Wow.
The Blu-ray wars.
That was Xbox, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yep. So there's a very specific reason why they lost out to Blu-ray too. I'm not going to get into it here, but you guys can look it up and read it.
Even Blu-ray to me isn't that big a deal. I mean, it wasn't as big of a jump as VHS was to DVD.
Yeah, although I will say, man, with Blu-ray now, like if you go back now and you see some like these like ESPN classics or something like these games that were before HD TV, and you're like, whoa, I really watched that back in the day. Like, oh my gosh. The quality is
hard to watch.
Yeah, exactly. But with this next iteration with 4K, man, I just don't know if the details enough difference for people's eyeballs to even tell the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to have big enough screen to see the difference in the resolution.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not in the 100-inch LED OLED range yet. I haven't acquired that status quite yet.
Has anybody jumped on the 4K bandwagon already?
Yeah, I got a 4K TV, 70-inch.
Is it like noticeably different than like a Blu-ray?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it. Yeah, I don't know.
Can you like reach out and touch the actors?
Oh, it's so real. Well, actually, some of the movies that I've seen or seen a lot of times when I watch it in 4K, it feels like I'm watching something new. It's like, describe it. It's like so clear. It's like you're sitting there watching like a live performance in front of you.
Nice.
So ETA Nick says that Neil Adams usually gets upfront appearance fees. He earns 6 figures kind of income each year just for showing up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get it.
Not a bad gig.
Yeah, it's good work if you can get it.
Yeah, really. 6 figures for showing up.
Yeah. A lot of them do get a guarantee, actually. That's a good point.
Oh, that's a good point, Nick. I didn't know that. He says that's why it doesn't matter if his booth is empty. That being said, this is just a few years ago, so maybe that has changed. That makes a lot of sense because I'm wondering, like, why is he not lowering his prices $20 for like a signature, like just a signature? Why is he not lowering his prices? In every convention that I've been to that he's at, there's nobody in line. You might have one person talking to him, but he doesn't have like a line like other people. So that's totally believable.
Yeah, and I can see a lot of shows maybe going that way, but I don't really think that's a viable solution because then you're just passing that expense on in the form of admission fees to customers who may not even care about getting signatures.
Yeah, and it's also going to affect vendor fees and stuff like that. So
it happens a lot with the celebrities too. There was something I was reading a little while back. They were saying that some of them can make in a weekend with the guarantee more than they'll make per episode in the show that they're on.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Pull in, 100, 250,000 in a weekend.
Yep. Well, you've all heard the stories about the bags and suitcases full of 20s. So that's what they got to leave the shows with. What a bad problem to have, man, I tell you.
Yeah. I actually saw that at Liefeld's table. He literally had a suitcase.
I remember you telling us about that.
From his booth. The buddy was just dumping it in there. It was charging whatever it was for, I don't know what it was for, like a New Mutants 98, whatever his rate was. And there was a guy that came up with a stack, and I have no joke. He had about 40 of them, and he wanted Rob to sign them all.
Wow.
At like $20-$30 per signature.
Hopefully he's dumping them on the market slowly and not flooding it with her. He's never going to see a return.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. What I want to do is, if you guys want to go ahead and give your closing thoughts and shout outs, Adam, you want to start us off, man?
Yeah, sure. No, I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you, Edwin, for having us on and chat a little bit on a Friday night. Good times. Thanks to everybody in the chat who showed up, and hope everybody has a great weekend.
Absolutely, man. I hope you do the same. Justin, what about you, bro?
Yeah, the same. Like, I know this was an impromptu show for everybody, so thanks for everybody who jumped in the chat and, you know, spent a little bit of time with us here on the Friday night. We had a ton of people show up, so I'm not even going to try to name everybody, just say thank you. And then, yeah, check out my channel. I got like 3 videos that are going to be up in the next 2 days, plus Sunday will be my live show, Sunday Morning Comics.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed the Sunday morning also. Good stuff. Jesse, what about you, man?
Not guilty, Your Honor. No. I mean, you know, we always say collect what you love, collect what you want, right? So, I mean, with these artists, let them charge what they want. It's up to you if you're going to pay it or not, you know, at the end of the day. But yeah, thanks for doing this impromptu chat here. It was fun. And I can't see the chat, but I'm sure there were a lot of great people in there. So thanks to them for stopping by. And I look forward to Justin on Sunday. And then, of course, Tuesday, head on over to my channel. We'll all be there again.
Yeah, and be sure to check us out over at, like Jesse was saying, on his channel, JLS Comics, on Tuesday nights around 8:30 Eastern in the evening. Justin, of course, over at EXILESTATE Comics, and then Adam over at Comically Flawed. Shout out also to ETA Nick for joining us kind of late. Thanks a lot, ETA Nick. I appreciate it. And thanks a lot to everybody else in the chat. There was quite a few people. Gomez, Jason Smith, Nerd Vision kind of came in late there for a minute. So, and we had mentioned some earlier. Avid Collector 80 kind of came in there a little bit. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. That's it. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. As I always say, keep God first in your life, but enjoy your comic books. And God bless you guys. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.